So now, I mean, one of the things I took away from that is it's about asking the right questions. Being able to ask the right questions, not for ourselves, but also to elicit the information that we want to try and use to help others. So next up on stage, we have Safoora Biglari, who is Associate Director of Community Relations from One Young World. If you come up to the stage, thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Safoora. I work for One Young World, and for those of you who don't know what it is a global platform for young leaders. We have an incredible community of over 10,000 young leaders who are working across every issue area you can possibly think of, from education, health, law, environment, and they work in 196 countries, and collectively, and this is a conservative estimate, they've impacted over 17.5 million people since 2010. And one huge reason why we wanted to be involved with this inquiry is because these young leaders, while they're driving action on each of the issue areas that they're working on, they don't often get to voice their opinions on issues of data protection and security and really have their voice involved in these conversations that are happening. We're thrilled that we got such a good response. We had people contributing and hosting focus groups in Colombia, in Lesotho, in corners of the world that genuinely were really hungry to contribute to this. So thank you, Alvin. Thank you to your amazing team for making this a reality, and all the other partners, because it's not easy. But after months of amazing work, I'm super proud to have been a part of this. But as you can see, we have a list of rights and responsibilities that this inquiry has come up with. And the rights are all pretty obvious to all of us. We all want privacy. We all want free expression. We all want equal access, corporate transparency, reliable security, and control of your own data. But as the citizen from Sweden says, these rights come with a responsibility, and it's up to each and every one of us to ensure that if we want to foster a world where these rights exist, that we all have to uphold them in our own ways. So I think it's pretty obvious what these responsibilities are, and while we might think of them as obvious, these forums are really critical on driving advocacy on these issues, because if we're not speaking about them here, and if we're not inviting the right people, and if the right people aren't seeing this work being done, then we can't criticize the senators at Zuckerberg's session in Congress where they're completely unaware of what's happening. It's purely because the information and the education is lacking, and we are all collectively responsible for ensuring that we can shape a better outcome for these companies, for us, for our governments. So the responsibilities that each and every one of us has: civil behavior, ensuring that we're not part of the hateful and divisive dialogue that we see day in and day out, awareness in education, taking me back to my Zuckerberg point. I mean, it's quite terrifying and somewhat shameful that we have these huge behemoths that are controlling every factor of our lives, and often making them more convenient and making them and creating a more equal footing for a lot of those people, like I was saying, in Colombia and Lesotho. But equally, it's terrifying that these companies not only understand us better than we understand ourselves, but they understand what will tap into our insecurities, what will tap into our wants and desires, and how they can lead us to making a decision where we think that decision is one of free will, but it is within a specific menu of choices. Holding power to account, again, this is one of the forums whereby we can try and do that, but we need to make sure that we are constantly being critical and that we're constantly contributing in any way that we can, because otherwise we will get left behind, and that was the whole point of this inquiry to begin with. Individual accountability, we all have to be masters of our own data destiny, I suppose, because otherwise we only have ourselves to blame. And I mean, you see it in small steps. People are deleting apps, people are not sharing their contact details with apps, but these are small steps towards a bigger picture, and we need to just better inform ourselves about how we can protect ourselves. Stopping online abuse. No longer do we live in a time where, you walk down the street and if something's happening, that you might fear that hero complex to step in. What the internet and the advent of all these forums has done, it's created an anonymity and eliminated that accountability that each of us has. So it's quite dangerous. And With all of this, I mean, I worry more about our future generations than us. Anyone above the age of 18, we're pretty attuned to these issues, but it's really about the children of today and of our future that I'm concerned about. And that leads to self-discipline, because we all can download apps that control the amount of time we spend on our phone, but when I see kids and like my little cousins who are 8 who are defining their self-esteem and shaping their self-esteem on the red button that triggers their endorphin or makes them feel like they're a part of something, and all of that is defined by a really fickle online structure, it's frightening. So it's really about how do we ensure we use and leverage this technology that doesn't harm us but benefits us. And it's going to take time to really find the answers, but I think we're all here because we want to be a part of it and ensure that we can create a better outcome for all of us. So thank you, Alvin, again, for all of your work. I look forward to hearing from the rest of you today, and I would love to chat with you guys how we can take this work forward. Thank you.